And shifting focus to the big story of the day, in a big win for Donald Trump, Hamas has now accepted Trump's Gaza peace plan and has announced its willingness to release all of the Israeli hostages. While the group accepted parts of the plan, it said other aspects still need negotiations, other aspects like disarmament. Now, Hamas also expressed readiness to hand over Gaza's administration to an independent Palestinian technocratic body, suggesting openness to a transitional governance model. Now, Donald Trump responded by urging Israel to halt bombing, saying that Hamas appears ready for lasting peace. He also emphasized that continued strikes could jeopardize hostage recovery efforts and called the deal nearly done. He further thanked countries involved in the mediation. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi, he also welcomed Trump's proposed peace plan for Gaza, calling it a significant step forward, ending the conflict. Listen in to exactly what Donald Trump has said.
I want to thank the countries that helped me put this together: Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down and concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages, unfortunately, you know the condition they're in, come home likewise to their parents, because their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented, but thank you all, and thank you all to those great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East, and we're very close to achieving that. Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
Now, CNN News 18's Aman Sharma and Siddhant Mishra, they join us live. A very good morning to both of you. Aman, I would like to come to you first. We've seen Donald Trump claim that Israel is very close to agreeing to his 20-point Gaza peace plan and that Hamas has partially accepted it. Based on what we know this morning, how real is this progress? Can we really consider it a breakthrough?
Well, Aisha, I think it's a big breakthrough. See, the major point which was, not being agreed for the last 2 years between both sides was that the hostages that were taken, the Israeli hostages which were taken over to the Palestine side, were not being released. There were about 48 hostages. Only 20 of them are expected to be alive as of now. But both the dead and the alive hostages have not been released to Israel. And Israel has been carrying on these strikes, number one, with the objective to eliminate Hamas, from the territory of Palestine and also secure the release of these hostages, while Palestine was using these hostages, as a leverage in this particular conflict. So that, I think, is a major development. The Hamas agreeing to release the hostages, and this was a very important point in the Gaza peace plan. That said, I think Mr. Modi's tweet also, Ayusha, which has come in the morning today, welcoming President Trump's leadership as the peace efforts in Gaza are making decisive progress. Important, very important, because he's saying also, Mr. Modi, that indications of the release of hostages mark a significant step forward. So even Mr. Modi is saying that, and he's saying that India will continue to strongly support all efforts towards a durable and a just peace. So I think a major first step has been taken, and Siddhant will weigh in more on that. But I think Hamas says it agrees to release the Israeli hostages, but it's also seeking changes to the US-Gaza, peace plan. So there is still work to do. Hamas is agreeing to release the hostages, but says further negotiations are needed on a number of points outlined in the US peace plan. For example, it is not agreeing to disarmament anytime soon. So these are, I think, still loose ends need to be tied. But I think, as President Trump has said and as Mr. Modi has welcomed it, saying this is a big first step, it could finally pave the way maybe for peace between both these states after a bitter conflict over the last 2 years, which has cost thousands of lives, Ayusha.
Right. Aman, do stay with us. We also have CNN News 18 Siddhant Mishra. Siddhant, I wish to understand, see, Hamas has partially accepted some elements, especially the hostage return. But what we are learning of is the fact that they have rejected full disarmament of the foreign administration. I wish to understand how far is that partial acceptance from the peace plan's core demands?
Well, that's right, Ayusha. In fact, this is a partial acceptance of President Trump's 20-point peace proposal. And in fact, they have, as Aman pointed out, that they have not accepted the proposal of disarmament. At the same time, they are not also okay with the idea of board for peace. Perhaps this was the board which was announced by President Trump the other day to handle the affairs of Gaza, and President Trump himself will chair this board. Tony Blair as the CEO of the board, so they are not happy with Tony Blair's appointment as well, given his role in 2003 Iraq War. So it has only been partially accepted, perhaps by the Hamas. So what we could understand at this point in time is that this is going to be a long journey here onwards, because Israel will want Hamas to accept this plan fully. Israel will want Hamas to agree to disarmament, and for that they have also been given the offer of amnesty. They will be given safe passage to leave Gaza, etc., etc. All those things have been said in the plan. So from here onwards, there is still going to be a long journey as far as peace in Gaza is concerned. So far, what we know is that Israel has accepted the peace plan. The Arab world has accepted the peace plan, but Hamas has partially accepted. And as Aman also pointed out, that the only leverage Hamas has is the 48 hostages, which are still in Hamas's custody, dead or alive. So they really don't want to give away that particular bargaining chip. So it's definitely going to be a long journey. But given the deadline which President Trump gave to Hamas to accept the proposal by Sunday, perhaps had put them in a lot of pressure, and because of which they came up with a statement saying that President Trump's efforts are encouraging, etc., etc. But also the fact is that there's a lot of problem. There's going to be a lot of issue also as far as actual ceasefire on ground is concerned. Look, what is required at this point in time? Number one, as Aman said, that hostage needs to be released. Number two, there needs to be a ceasefire and just peace. Number three, humanitarian aid. Now, this plan also covers the humanitarian aid part, President Trump's plan, which says that once hostages will be released and the ceasefire will be implemented. In fact, there's also the removal of the Israeli forces in the phased manner. That is also the part of the proposal. So after which the humanitarian aid will be allowed, and there's also a plan roadmap which has been announced. So these are the three key priority of President Trump's plan, and perhaps these are the three key pillars of President Trump's plan. So unless the hostages are released, unless Hamas agrees to give up arms, unless Israel stops bombing Gaza, perhaps it would be really difficult to go ahead with peace in Gaza. So it's still going to be a very long journey here onwards, and it would really be interesting to see that how Israel is going to, because so far Israel has not announced ceasefire. All they have said, the president's office, prime minister's office, I beg your pardon, has come up with a statement in which they have said that they are ready to implement the first stage of President Trump's peace plan, which is release of the hostages. No mention of ceasefire, no mention of end to the bombardment in Gaza. So perhaps there where Israel has to step in and announce the ceasefire, and then perhaps we could understand, or we could be in a position to say that yes, the actual ceasefire has been implemented in Gaza.
Right, Siddhant. Now, Aman, let's talk about the timings. The Nobel Peace Prize is slated to be announced next Friday. And then October 7th also marks 2 years since Hamas's 2023 attack, which is also just a few days ago. To what extent, Aman, is this timing of this entire peace plan connected to those symbolic dates? Do you think Trump can achieve something here?
Well, it remains speculative, Ayusha. I'm not really sure if Mr. Trump is getting the Nobel Peace Prize, with the the announcement being so soon, we'll have to wait and see what really happens. Of course, Mr. Trump does want a Nobel Peace Prize. He has made it very, very, open and public. He's even said that it is a question of US's reputation and US prestige that he should get the Nobel Peace Prize. He claims to have ended so many wars across the planet. So that remains to be seen. But yes, I think this development coming before October 7th, which is the second anniversary of the Hamas terror attack on Israel's soil, in which many lost their lives, many were taken hostage. I think extremely significant. I think Donald Trump taking the lead in this, coming up with his Gaza peace plan at this point of time, also fixing a deadline on Hamas. Yesterday, that you must accept this plan by Sunday or hell will be set loose on you. I think that has also done the trick on Hamas coming on board, because anyways, Hamas capabilities have been severely dented due to the Israeli strikes, over the last 2 years. Maybe they had no choice. They could not invite US wrath also, and they have agreed to release the hostages in a very, very important first step, which is extremely important. But I still feel that, they are still seeking further negotiation on other issues, regarding the future of Gaza, what will be the rights of Palestinians, that we still want a discussion on, because they are not agreeable, I feel, to everything so far. But Trump had clearly called upon Israel also, Ayusha, to immediately stop the bombing of Gaza, so that they can get out the hostages safely and quickly. He has said this earlier today morning, and that US is already in discussions on details to be worked out on that. They also wanted the renewal of the agreement to hand over the administration of Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body of independence. That's what Hamas is now saying, technocrats based on Palestinian national consensus, Arab Islamic support. But as Siddhant was also very crucially mentioning, that this statement makes no mention of one of the key demands of the plan, which is Hamas agreeing to disarmament and playing no further role in the governance of Gaza. Will this be acceptable to Hamas? Still remains to be seen. But so far, an immediate end to fighting and release within 72 hours of the 20 living Israeli hostages held by Hamas is a major priority for the region. US has been working towards that.
Right.
Make informed decisions with comprehensive analysis on the go.
Strengthen your portfolio with real-time market updates on the go. Create effective strategies with insightful expert opinions on the go.
Grow on the go with CNBC-TV18, now streaming live 24/7 on YouTube.
Hey, thank you for watching this on CNBC TV18. Hope you liked it. For more such interesting news and updates, follow CNBC TV18 on all the social media platforms.